was like, Lily, he knows all about his career but kinda sucks as a boyfriend. Her makeup artist chimed in, saying, yeah, he's always caught up in some drama with his co-stars. But despite all that noise, Lily still had a soft spot for Hedo. Hedo confessed he lied to her on purpose, fully aware of her feelings for him. He figured crushing her spirit would make her nail that sad scene. Then he added, when people praise your acting, don't forget to give me the credit. Lily was done. She called him trash and threw the gift she got him right in his face. She gave him a piece of her mind and stormed off. Hedo, still clueless, demanded she shut the door on her way out, but she ignored him. As he sat there, he noticed 3 gifts on his lap, a neck pillow, a handwritten letter, and the lollipop he gave her when they first met, no broken. He just sat there dumbfounded, choosing not to go after her. The drama hit its peak with the Muse scandal, and suddenly, Mine was everywhere, but for all the wrong reasons. People started recognizing her, and she was finally a big name not the way she wanted. But hey, fame is fame, right? Johan told her it was time to update her socials and grow her fanbase. Mine was hesitant, unsure about what to post first. Johan casually suggested, I could take a photo of you right now. Mine was like, nah, I haven't even hit the salon yet. But Johan reassured her she looked pretty. She posed on the balcony, but just as Johan was about to snap the pic, he felt something was off. He walked over and gently tucked her hair behind her ear. Myon got super flustered, but when she saw the photo, she was shocked it looked flawless. Johan played it cool, saying it turned out that way because she was beautiful to begin with. Myon smiled and joked, guess you're my photographer now, and Johan was all for it. Her Instagram blew up, and companies started sponsoring her first ad. That night, as she reflected on everything, Myon realized her days of being a nobody were officially over. If she could tell her past self anything, it would be to be proud she finally made it. The big day finally arrived for Myon's audition for the lead into Women. She took a deep breath and stepped in, only to hear a voice she knew all too well. It was none other than her rival, Yenna Ban. Back in college, Yenna straight up asked Myon why she quit the play with Hedo. Myon lied, saying there was no particular reason. Yenna called her out, saying, was it because you two broke up? She told Myon she was super obvious and then asked if she could take over her role and date Hedo. As if that wasn't wild enough, Yenna then showed Myon the script with all of Myon's parts highlighted and notes scribbled all over it. She asked Myon to help her with her acting. Myon wondered just how long Yenna had been secretly rehearsing all her parts. Back in the present, Yenna explained that since she's involved in the production, she has the right to be in the casting room. Yenna gave Myon an innocent smile, which totally triggered her, but Myon stayed quiet. When Myon introduced herself as a new actress, Yenna cut in and revealed to everyone that she wasn't. Then she twisted the knife, saying she felt bad that Myon's acting skills were overlooked because of all the photo scandals, pretending to praise her while actually dissing her. Yenna got carried away, clapping sarcastically before Myon even started her audition, trying to insult her further. Myon seriously thought about walking up and slapping Yenna, as Yenna kept throwing shade in a way only Myon could catch. Yenna wanted to throw Myon off her game, but Myon wasn't about to cave. She knew that if she could block out the noise, she'd be unstoppable. Instead of snapping back, Myon thanked Yenna and decided that if she was going to be her, it would be on her own terms through her acting. After the audition, Myon rushed out for a much-needed smoke, but she was struggling to light her cigarette, hands trembling. Johan showed up from behind and asked if she was okay. He wanted her to open up about how much the audition messed her up, and she finally did. She admitted she acted cool, but deep down, she wanted to bolt. She thought she'd made progress, but seeing Yenna in the room made her realize she hadn't caught up at all. Myon confessed that watching Yenna get away with everything was proof Yenna had secured her spot in the acting world, while Myon felt like a fake just a house made of straw. She started doubting herself, wondering if it wasn't just bad luck holding her back, but the fact that she might not be capable enough. She couldn't believe how far behind she'd fallen compared to her peers. Even at her lowest, Yenna still found ways to torture her. Myon felt like she had nothing to her name except the illusion of being some made-up muse. A few days later, Johan congratulated Myon on making the cast for 2 Women. He walked her to the rehearsal room and gave her a quick pep talk, saying, you've got this, like he somehow knew what was about to go down. His words gave Myon a boost, but the second she stepped into the room, she froze. Turns out, she'd be starring in the film with the director Hyunjae, her ex. The writer of 2 Women, SOOJIN, introduced herself, totally nervous and starstruck to be around so much talent. Yenna jumped in, saying that the moment she read the screenplay, she begged the production company to have director Woo and Myon on board because no one else fit the roles better. Suddenly, SOOJIN accidentally spilled her coffee all over the table and rushed to clean it up, leaving the 3 of them in awkward silence. Yenna broke it by asking Myon when was the last time the 3 of them were together like this. Myon, dripping with sarcasm, shot back, oh, was it the day you kissed someone else's man? She then got up and walked out, not wanting any part of this twisted reunion. Hyunjae, looking visibly guilty, ran after her. Myon found herself on the roof again, questioning if she could beat Yenna because she felt like she had nothing. Suddenly, Johan appeared and asked for her hand. He placed his lighter in her palm and told her he wouldn't force anything on her, but he'd support her in the best way possible and stick with her until the end. Until everyone in the world dreams of you, even if this path leads you to the edge of a cliff, he reassured her. Myon wondered if managers usually go this far in encouraging their artists. Johan, almost reading her mind, casually replied, it's because I love the word love made Myon flustered, thinking she was about to get a love confession. But then he added, I love the way you smile on camera, and walked back to the car like it was nothing. Myon was left confused about Johan's true intentions, but at the same time, she felt a sense of relief knowing she had someone fighting alongside her. Hyunjae showed up next and told Myon he had no clue she'd be cast in this film. Then he got real and said the reason he came was to let her know that there was nothing between him and Yenna. But Myon cut him off, saying she didn't leave him because of Yenna. She congratulated him on becoming a director, extending her hand to keep things strictly professional. Let's keep work separate from our personal lives, she said. Instead of shaking her hand, Hyunjae chose to hug her. Meanwhile, Johan, who had said he'd wait for her by the parking lot, was actually still nearby, watching them from a distance. He lit his cigarette, looking annoyed at Hyunjae's actions. Hyunjae hugged Myon tightly, begging for forgiveness, and asked what he could do to get them back together. Myon, feeling uncomfortable with this, pushed him away. She decided it was time to be real with him. You're kind but indecisive. You seem consistent but are full of contradictions. Your dreams mix movies with reality. You said you believed in me, but when I was alone, I didn't think I could ever become a respectable actress. You replaced me with Yenna just to later cast me in your script, and all I did by your side was build my own inferiority complex. She told him straight out that they were holding each other back from reaching their true potential and that they would have broken up either way. Myon quickly left before she could fall for any more of Hyunjae's excuses and promises. She knew if she stayed, she might slip back into that toxic cycle with him. Wiping her tears away, she vowed never to become a nobody again. Hyunjae was bawling in despair when Johan appeared and offered him a handkerchief. Grateful for the seeming kindness, Hyunjae accepted it. But then Johan bluntly said, you are hanging onto Myon shamelessly. Hyunjae realized Johan had witnessed everything. Yuhan blew out a puff of smoke and told Hyunjae he should be thankful Myung even allowed him to date her in the first place and warned him to be careful about overstepping boundaries as a director from now on. Leaning in close to Hyunjae's ear, Yuhan whispered, "Stop clinging to Myung, loser." As if that wasn't enough, Yuhan then snuffed out his lit cigarette on the very handkerchief he just handed over and walked off nonchalantly. The team had a final wrap-up party that night, but Hedo was nowhere to be seen. Everyone was relieved that the controversial drama was well received, and the director thanked everyone for their hard work. Lily pulled Myung aside to apologize for the previous misunderstanding. Myung understood, and the two bonded, promising to keep in touch after everything wrapped up. Out of nowhere, Hedo showed up, standing handsomely under a street lamp. "I've been looking all over for you," he said. Turns out, Hedo had been looking for Myung. He turned to Lily and jokingly called her hot-tempered girl, asking her to leave them alone because he had something to discuss with Myung. Curious about the nickname, Myung found out that Lily had smacked Hedo for lying to her about their dating status. Hedo then admitted that maybe it was his wishful thinking, hinting at his interest in dating Myung again. He then asked who the punk was that leaked the photo of the two of them, but Myung told him she'd explain another time. Hedo, softening up, forgave her, saying it was just because of her pretty face. He got a bit emotional and asked if they'd see each other again, confessing that while he loves getting lost in projects, once they ended, everyone went their separate ways. He admitted that he was always pushing forward, never really enjoying the moment, and that being competitive often left him feeling lonely at the top. He wished others could rise with him and admired Myung for always having someone to support her. Realizing he shared more than he intended, Hedo got embarrassed. But Myung appreciated his vulnerability and complimented him for being cool. Finally, Hedo confessed that he liked her too, but in his own way seeing her as a true actress. Myung reflects that the journey she's taken to get here is just the beginning of an even longer road ahead. She knows that the public only pays attention to the best of the best. Even when she briefly caught the public's eye because of the scandal with Hedo, she was quickly forgotten. Meanwhile, a novice like Lily had improved her acting skills with each episode, while Myung felt stuck at an ordinary pro level. She wondered why she couldn't reach the same heights as Yena Ben overnight. But then again, maybe Yena didn't get there overnight either. From a distance, the mountain looked beautiful, but up close, it was steeper and tougher than anyone could imagine to reach the top. In the film To Women, Myung landed the role of Bomi, a character who's pretty but trashy, with her charms on full display throughout the movie. During the script read-through, Yena complimented Myung, saying she used to be so pretty that people would always do a double take when they passed her. Then, with a sly smile, Yena taunted Myung, asking if she still gets the same kind of attention she used to back then. Myung asked Yena what she could have done to deserve being treated like this. Yena shrugged and said it was just unfortunate that they both fell for the same guy. Then she asked Myung if she still loved Hyunjae. Yena wasn't apologetic liking someone else's man because, according to her, she liked Hyunjae before Myung did. Those feelings of entitlement clouded her morals. Suddenly, Hyunjae rushed into the room, late because of traffic, but he brought coffee for everyone. Seeing him and Yena together hit Myung hard, but she reminded herself that she chose to stay in this film. Yena, making sure to stir the pot, loudly thanked Hyunjae for knowing her favorite coffee flavor, making sure Myung heard it, trying to spark some jealousy. Hyunjae found himself in an awkward spot when Yena wanted him to sit next to her, but Myung insisted he sit in the middle. It was obvious the two were in a pointless competition, so Hyunjae chose to sit between them to keep the peace. Myung didn't want Hyunjae back, but out of pride, she refused to let Yena keep crushing her. Finally, the day of the shoot arrived. Yuhan showed up with coffee for the entire production staff, and his totally different, professional vibe caught Hyunjae off guard. After respectfully bowing to the director, Yuhan asked Hyunjae to take special care of Myung, then walked off coolly. The first scene as Bomi required Myung to dance without music, giving her total freedom with no stage to hold her back. She knew it was a complex scene, but she was excited, seeing it as the perfect way to showcase her acting skills through Bomi. Just as the camera started rolling, the CEO of the production company suddenly showed up, claiming there had been a miscommunication. To everyone's shock, he announced that Yena would be playing the role of Bomi instead. The two ladies stood there, locked in a silent, intense stare. Finally, Myung broke the silence, asking Yena what she was trying to pull. Yena replied with an innocent tone, like the CEO said, "There's been a miscommunication," and selfishly added, "You can just prep your scenes as Byung-hui until your next shoot." Hyunjae, clearly disturbed by the sudden change, said in a panic that switching roles last minute would be tough, but the CEO refused to budge. Yena then took the chance to sabotage Myung, confidently saying she was fine with the changes and suggesting that Myung was probably the only one feeling anxious. The CEO then suggested that Hyunjae compare the two ladies to see who was better suited for the role of Bomi. Hyunjae felt immense pressure, as if the breakup with Myung, with Yena as the trigger, wasn't already enough. Remembering Myung's words about him being kind but indecisive, he decided to change his ways. He believed Myung could nail the role of Bomi, so he agreed with the CEO's plan. They would each get a shot at acting as Bomi to see who truly fit the role. Yena, brimming with confidence, chose to go first. The character of Bomi was described as pretty but trashy, and the irony was that Yena seemed to fit the role effortlessly. She didn't even need to act because she was Bomi. The CEO, clearly biased by Yena's charms, insisted on swapping the roles immediately. However, Yena disagreed, saying Myung should be given a fair shot. In reality, Yena was just overconfident, thinking Myung would crumble under the mental pressure. When the camera started rolling for Myung's turn, she tapped into the deeper emotions Bomi embodied from the script. Myung realized that Bomi must have struggled with the conflict between love and hate, knowing that just choosing to stay alive in this cold, harsh world was tough enough. Unlike Yena's shallow interpretation, Myung took the character further. She danced, but not out of happiness. She danced to reveal the darker side of Bomi, who felt broken and empty even after getting her revenge. After the shoot, Yena smirked at Myung and said that Myung must have been awfully desperate to act the way she did. She then told Myung that she had the potential to be a superstar if she had always acted that way, but Yena didn't stop there. She crossed a line by trying to teach Myung a lesson, saying, "You want to know why you were an unknown actor all this time? Because you were cherry-picking roles that made you look pretty so you could pretend to be cute." That was the last straw. Myung, fueled by anger, gave Yena a tight slap across the face. For a brief moment, Yena's true self slipped out as she muttered vulgarities under her breath, but she quickly switched back to her innocent act, making sure everyone nearby knew about Myung's actions. "Did you just hit me?" she cried out loudly, playing the victim for all to see. The CEO, furious after hearing what happened, declared that Yena was worth far more than Myung and demanded that Myung apologize for slapping her. Ironically, he accused Myung of being an entitled brat, a label that should have been reserved for Yena. But Myung stood her ground, refusing to apologize. This was about her pride, and she was done letting Yena control her. Suddenly, Yuhan stepped in to defend Myung. He apologized on her behalf and handed Yena a handkerchief and an ice cup to help her cool down. Knowing the situation was getting out of hand, Yuhan quickly turned to Hyunjae and urged him to decide who would play Bomi before things escalated any further. Yuhan pulled Myung aside, clearly not pleased with her actions, but he still gently wiped away her tears. Myung tried to lighten the mood, forcing a smile as she asked if what she did was right, explaining that she just couldn't take any more of Yena's abuse. Yuhan, in a serious tone, told her she should never have resorted to violence, warning that it would stir up gossip and put her at a greater disadvantage, especially with the biased CEO witnessing everything. If you want to win this fight, you can't be this reckless again, he reprimanded. Mayong felt ashamed for needing to be taught this lesson, but then Yuhan finished with a smile saying, but honestly, I thought you were really cool. Finally, Jae and the production team made the decision to cast Mayong as Bomi. This completely caught Yena off guard, despite the CEO insisting Yena should get the role. Yena knew she had lost. Trying to save face, Yena, being the sore loser she is, claimed, on second thought, Bomi seems kinda cheap, so I don't want it anymore. Mayong smiled and said, next time try not to get your roles mixed up. Yena played it off cool, but as she walked away, she was on the verge of screaming as she couldn't achieve what she wanted, Mayong's downfall. Back at Yena's apartment, she was in a full-blown rage, smashing glasses in frustration. Her manager rushed over asking if she was okay, only to get slapped across the face. Yena was furious that her manager wasn't there at the shoot, but her manager explained that Yena had gone off without even contacting her. In a drunken outburst, Yena started venting her insecurities, admitting that not only did she lose to Mayong in talent, but her crush didn't even notice her. What made it worse was that all Yena had was that old geezer, while Mayong had two men who truly cared about her. Yena bitterly realized that the stunt she pulled had only backfired, and she admitted to herself that she wasn't a great actress. She fumed about how blind the guys were to love that bitch Mayong and warned her manager not to take Mayong's side either. She knew her plans had been thwarted by one person, Yuhan, Mayong's manager and confidant. Jealously, she thought they looked like they were filming a low-budget romance comedy together. Finally, she grabbed a bottle of hard liquor, taking a huge gulp, claiming she was sanitizing herself from the nasty thoughts weighing her down. Yena strolled into Metaphor Entertainment with one goal, to drag Mayong down using Yuhan. She started by cheekily apologizing to Director Baek for the chaos on set but quickly got to the point. Being the ultimate shit-stirrer, Yena hinted that she thinks Director Baek has a thing for Yuhan, and now she's trying to pit Mayong against her by suggesting that Yuhan and Mayong have caught feelings for each other on set. This caught Ilha off guard, but she knew exactly what Yena was trying to do. Playing along, she wished Yena good luck with her film. Yena then decided to wait for Yuhan under the excuse of returning his handkerchief, but she had other plans. She wanted to dig deeper into who this guy really was and ask him out for a meal, to which he agreed. They both headed to a restaurant, and Yena suggested some wine, hoping Yuhan might loosen up and spill some secrets. But Yuhan declined. He didn't trust Yena one bit. Instead, he opted for a mocktail and raised a glass with her. Yena stared at him in silence for a moment before saying, "You're very handsome, but you come off like a robot. Your expression never changes, and you never speak casually." Then, switching gears, she flirted. "I've seen you smile before and thought about dating you, but maybe that smile is only reserved for one woman." She finally got down to business and asked, "Are you crushing on unrequited love?" hoping to get a reaction out of him. But Yuhan's expression didn't budge. They both knew who she was talking about. She continued, "Mayong used to date director was seriously for 8 long years. They probably knew each other best." Yuhan calmly replied that he was aware. Sensing his indifference, Yena added, "I can't help but feel you're not the biggest fan of Director Wu." Yuhan cut her off, saying, "I could say the same about you toward Mayong." Yena pouted and said, "But sadly, love doesn't care whether you love them first or not." She added that it hurts to watch your crush love someone else from a distance. Then she smiled slyly, but they finally broke up. Despite that, she sighed, Jae still only cares about Mayong. After all the build-up and realizing they were both in the same predicament, Yena suggested an alliance. But Yuhan declined, saying that all he does for Mayong is provide the support she needs as her manager, nothing more. He stood up, thanked Yena for being proper motivation for Mayong, and began to walk away. But then he paused and admitted that the reason he disliked Jae was because he was a distraction, holding Mayong back from reaching her full potential. This caught Yena by surprise. She wasn't even sure if Yuhan really disliked Jae and had just been testing him. Then Yuhan proposed a deal. If Yena could get Jae to give up on Mayong, he'd get her something she wanted. This made Yena happy, and the two shook hands in agreement. However, a paparazzi was looking in the shadows, secretly snapping pics of their meeting.
If I don't know stuff, whatever you need, and I'm saving all the bold lines, I'll say them while you sleep. You're sleeping on the wrong side, and I'm turning endlessly, screaming for my lifeline, lifeline, life. Ooh, continental drifter, still I'm the hero of my hometown. Now I'm all lit up with you, sentimental trickster. Maybe